All right, good morning, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. It looks like we have Marjorie, Ryan, and Isabel. Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing today? Good, I'm glad. Good, Isabel. Uh, it seemed like a weird, strange morning that we started getting rain this morning. Is it raining where you guys are at too? Good, good. I'm doing good. Um, Same as always, right? It's take the positive as whatever you can. I still miss going to work and still miss the daily routine of being out there with you guys. But what would it be right now? Right now would be in third period. But no, I'm doing well. Marjorie, I did get the talk to Mr. Castillo this morning. He said that there should be a folder out there for you for that new packet. So you're welcome to go get it today or tomorrow whenever you get a chance. But it should be out there with the rest of the packets, and yours are separate from everybody else's. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We have week 6 here, and if we follow the kind of the schedule for as far as kind of how we laid it out, that's what we're working on today. We have the ratios and proportions review, which is 1 through 6. But again, we're welcome to work on whatever you guys would like. Um, that would probably be my main focus today. But if you guys want to talk about anything else, we can. So let's get to day 1. This is somewhat what it looks like. There it is. All right, so here's day 1. So is there anything you guys would like me to work on so you guys don't have to do it? Yeah, for sure. Let's do number 6. So here's number 6. Um, it says Ms. Jones' cup of coffee always has a ratio of 2.5 cups of water for 1/4 ounce of coffee beans. Find how many cups of water is required per ounce of coffee beans. Okay. So two things here. We got to understand what we're comparing. And I know that we're comparing the water and the coffee beans. So I'll just put coffee. So we're comparing the water with the coffee. This one here, we're going to turn that into a decimal. And that one there, we're going to turn into a decimal as well. It just makes it easier to work with instead of having different fractions with different denominators. We'll have 2.5 of water. And then we're going to have 0.25 of coffee. Okay. And that's the ratio that they first gave us. That's how many we started with. And then as we go into the problem, they're looking for how many cups of water. So the water essentially is going to be our question mark. That's what we're going to be looking for. And then they tell us per ounce of coffee bean. So that per gives me a big hint because I know that per is going to be a 1. Okay. All right. Now, the way I like to work on these is a ratio table, but again, you don't have to do a ratio table, but I think it organizes all the information for us. So here's my ratio table for that. I'm going to put W for water and C for coffee. Okay. When we first started, we had 2.5 ounces of water, and then we had 0.25 ounces of coffee beans. Okay. Now that 1, it kind of tells us where we need to put that. It needs to put it in the coffee bean. So we're going to put a 1 here. And then the question mark that we talked about is going to go here. But obviously, I'm going to erase that question mark. That question mark is where we're going to fill in as our answer. Now, from 2,500 to 1, we're going to be getting bigger. And if you think about this as money again, this is like if you have 1 quarter. So how many quarters is there in a dollar? Well, how many quarters? Well, there's going to be 4. So I'm going to be multiplying this by 4. Okay, and whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top as well. So when you multiply this by 4, you should get 10 ounces. Okay. So how many cups of water? It's going to be 10 cups. I said ounces, but it's 10 cups. So the answer here would be 10 cups of water per ounce of coffee beans. There it is. Okay. All right. And that makes sense because if we started with 1/4 of a cup or 1/4 of a ounce, and we're going to go all the way to one, it should be getting increasing. It should be have a bigger number. So we also have a bigger number with water. All right. And then the majority of these problems work the same way. Um, the majority of these are going to be just trying to figure out where you're going to put the missing number. And then obviously in different stories, you're comparing different things. But racial table, I think, helps you the most to figure out what's going on with there. Okay. All right, Jennifer, thank you for joining us. You're welcome to ask questions as we go. I believe you have the paper copy as well. So just ask any questions that you want to work on, any questions that maybe you found difficult, and then we can work on those together. That way you don't have to worry about them anymore. Okay. And again, today's focus is more so on this one, but any other questions you guys have, let me know. All right, number 9. All right, so that would be scrolling down to this page here. All right, so number 9 says, determine if the graph below has a proportional relationship. If it does, write the equation that would represent the table below. Okay. Now, this is this is from a long time ago, so I guess I'll pose a question to you guys. How do you know if it's proportional relationship? Exactly. It doesn't start at 0. So is there a proportional relationship to this? No. Okay. Because remember, proportional relationship means that it has to start at 0, 0. It has to start at this point here. Okay. And if you were to have like a straight line, something like that, then yeah, that could be considered a proportional relationship because it's increasing both with the ounces of sugar and the cups of water. But since it doesn't start at 1, or sorry, 0, 0, it starts up here at 2, we don't have a proportional relationship. So it kind of negates the next part. If it does, well, it doesn't. So we can cross that part out. We can just say no, comma, does not start at 0, something like that. Not start at, and then we're going to put 0, 0 because you need both of them to be at 0. Okay. Okay. And that should answer the question there. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan. A lot of this stuff is difficult because it's stuff that we've talked about from way back when. I think we did this in, I believe, September, a little bit of beginning of October. So it's from a long time ago, but it helps to remember it all. All right. Jennifer, did you have any questions? Anything that you've been working on? Anything you're trying to get completed? Or Isabel, is there any other questions you would like me to work on? Okay. All right. Now I've been thinking about how to make these online sessions a little bit better. I've been thinking of maybe doing like even you can do like a Kahoot online where I would share my screen obviously with you guys and you guys can answer it on your own on the other end. I think something like that would be possible as well. It's just things that I need to kind of play with and figure out exactly how it's going to work. Obviously, with you guys being not on campus or me being on campus, so um, I'll try to make these sessions better. I know one of the things that people talked about was having more people on here, so maybe I'll have an incentive option for students that whoever logs on will get some type of raffle prize or anything like that. I know one of my fellow teachers, what they're doing is they're raffling off gift cards. They're raffling off gift cards to like different food places in Sanger. So maybe like a McDonald's gift card, maybe like a Burger King gift card and things like that. So maybe that would get more students to log on to these sessions and then maybe make it a little more interesting for you guys. But Ryan, do you want to work on number 10? Yeah, we can definitely work on that one. Here's number 10. Number 10. Which of the following statements is true or false? If the statement is false, provide justification. So we're going to obviously have to go statement by statement and determine if it's true or false. If it's false, then we have to explain why it would be considered false. So for any true statement, we'll kind of just say it's true. So we're comparing water and we're comparing ounces of sugar. So ounces of sugar, cups of water. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about these now. The constant of proportionality, there it is. It's 3/2. Now, this again goes back to remembering what the equation was a while back. This one here would be the x-axis. Whoops, sorry guys. This one here would be considered the x-axis. And this one up here would be considered the y-axis. Okay. I almost don't like how it's spaced out here. You don't have room to work with. All right. Now, the equation for K, when you're talking about the constant proportionality, is going to be K equals Y over X. That's the equation for the constant of proportionality. Okay. And then now you just have to pick those values. So if the Y here, this is going to be Y, this is going to be X. And we have to see if they actually match or not. So we're going to look at these up here. So for Y, we're looking for the value of 3. So here's 3. Here's 3. And we're going to go to 2 because the Y value and the X value have to match. Is there the line intersect those 2 points there? Well, no, it doesn't. So therefore, the constant of proportionality for this is 3/2, and the answer is no, it's not. Okay. So what mistake could they have made? Well, I would imagine that the mistake they made is they flipped the K, or sorry, the X and the Y's. So this one here is false. Under justification, we can say for each Y value of 3, the X value is not 2. Okay. So for each Y value of 3, the X value is not 2. And we kind of proved that up here with the markings there with 3 and 2. Okay. All right, so let's look at the second statement. At point A, it requires 4 cups of water and 6 cups of sugar. So it's kind of the same idea. We're going to look at the water and see if it matches with 4. And we're going to look at the sugar and we're going to see if it matches with 6. And that one's kind of easy to tell. The cups of water is on this side. Let's see if that's a 4. Let's see if it matches. Yep. And then we also have to make the other one match as well. So it doesn't match with 6. And the answer is true. It does. So both values there will match. All right. Okay, so for the equation, the graph is y equals 2 over 3x. And remember that this one here is a different way of taking this equation and kind of bring it down here. It's a different form of it. So k, this is kind of from the equation y equals kx. So essentially what we're trying to determine is what does k equal? What does k equal? And k is going to be the values of y and x. So remember we talked about this one here. As we talked about this one, we talked about the values don't match. But this one here, they do match because they kind of flipped them. So this one here would be true because 2 over 3. That means that this is the y value. That means that this is the x value. So does 2 and 3 match? Well, 2 is here for the water, and 3 is here. Do those match? And the answer is yes, they do match. They go on the line. So this one here would actually be true. Okay, it's kind of the inverse or the flip-flop of the first one. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then the last one, if you have 12 ounces of sugar, it would take 8 cups of water. Okay. Well, the problem here is that we don't have, obviously here, we don't have 12. We're going to have to calculate it somehow. And then 8 is up here for the water, and we also don't have calculated that one either. So here's what you can do for that. You can make a ratio table, and we know that we're comparing sugar and water. Okay. And pick the values that they give you. Pick any of these values. Okay. Anywhere that the points intersect, that's where you can pick. So you can pick that one. You can pick that one. You can pick this one as well. Any of those points would work because those intersect perfectly at the line and they give you perfect numbers. Okay. I'm going to use this one only because we haven't talked about that. We'll talk about maybe 6. Or actually, you know what? This one makes it more easier. Easier. There it is. 6 and 4. Let's do those instead. Okay. So we're going to do 6 of sugar. And we're going to do 4 of water. Because this makes it easy for me because I understand that we have 12 of sugar. And if I put a 12 here, it's going to be easy to make that transition from here to there. Okay. Actually, I lied. It's not 4. Here it is. Okay. And then we're going to put times 2. And that checks out. And this one here for 8 times 2, does that check out? It does. So since they both follow the same rule and we're using the numbers that they give us, we're using 12 and 8. And they both match here, 12 and 8. And they follow the same rule. Therefore, this one's also true. Okay, that one's also true as well. That one required a lot of work, only because it's step by step, 4 different statements on these. Okay. All right, Isabel, thank you for joining us. Ryan, hopefully, I mean, that was a long problem, but hopefully that made sense to you. I'll leave that there so you guys can take a look at it a little bit more. Isabel, bye-bye. Thank you for dropping by. All right, Marjorie, you would like to work on number 8? So yeah, we can definitely work on number 8. Number 8's right here. Okay. It says determine if the table below has a proportional relationship. If it does, write the equation that would represent the table below. Now, for this one, again, it kind of goes back to what we know about proportional relationships. And we essentially wanted to start at 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0 has to be one of the options there. Okay. Now, for this one, we can kind of say no because on the table, there's no 0, 0, and it needs to be there. It needs to have, it has to start there. Notice that on this one here, when there is a proportional relationship, the equation or the graph started at 0, 0. But we can always calculate the equation. The equation could be one of these. It could be k equals y over x, or we could say y equals kx. Now for k, we can say that it's something like this. K equals, and pick one of these, any of these pairs. And we can take the middle one. We'll start with the middle one. We can say 12, or sorry, 15 over 12 there, because we have y over x, so 15 over 12, and that's the equation there. Now, when you simplify this, here's how you determine if there's a proportional relationship or not. When you simplify this, remember that you have a fraction, and a fraction is a form of division. So what we can do is we can divide those two numbers. We can divide 12 or 15 divided by 12. And if someone can do that, I don't want to get off of this and then it might kick me out again. So what is 15 divided by 12? I believe you might get like a repeating decimal, maybe. Okay, so 1.25. 1.25. So that's going to be essentially my rule, going from one to the other. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the others to see if there's a proportional relationship. If they are all 1.25, then yes, we have a proportional relationship. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other ones. I'm going to erase this here. And I'm going to say k equals 5 over 4. What do we get there? Okay, so Jennifer says that it does match. It says that it's 1.25. And then we're going to do it for the last one. So far they do match. We're going to do it for the last one. 10 over 8 and see what that equals. All right, so Brianna agrees it's 1.25. So notice that these are all the same. This one is the same as that one, is the same as that one. So that tells me that, yes, there's proportional relationship, but the only reason I put no up here is because it doesn't start, or it doesn't give me a value of 0, 0. Okay, but technically there is a proportional relationship because they all match. This one matches with that one, and then it also matches with that one. So they all match, and there's my equation for it. K equals y over x. They all match. So technically it's a no and a yes. No only because it doesn't start at 0, 0. All right, again, another very long and maybe a little confusing problem, but it kind of just takes you working one step at a time. So, Marjorie, did that answer your question for number 8? All right, Brianna, thank you for joining us. What about you? Do you have any questions you want to ask about this? All right, guys. If you have any other questions, okay, Ryan, yeah, perfect. Let's go ahead and work on number 11. Here it is, error analysis. April says that the graph below is a proportional relationship and the equation is y equals 4 over 9x. Is she correct? Explains your thought process with evidence of your work. Okay. And again, I don't like how these are formatted here. There's like little workspace. But so we're going to take that equation. Okay. And we know that k, or well, we'll say y equals kx. And we know that k equals 4 over 9. So I'm assuming that's what probably we're going to be testing, if it actually equals 4 over 9. Okay. This one here will be your x value. This one here will be your y value. Okay, and that's always going to be true. Now, if we consider this, k equals y over x, that means that y has to equal 4 and x has to equal 9. So let's take a look at that. If we take a look at x, which is down here, we're going to be looking at this first. We're going to be looking for the value of 9. Okay, so as we scroll here, well, obviously that's 2, that's 4, that's 6, that's 8, that's 10. Well, we don't have the exact place where 9 is, but we know it's in between these two here. So it's going to be in between. And I'm just going to make the line going all the way up. Try to make it as straight as possible there, something like that. Okay, so 9 is going to be somewhere in here. Okay, okay, somewhere like that. Okay, and for the y value, we're going to be looking at this one here. Okay, and 4, well, obviously 4 is going to be down here somewhere, so that doesn't even match. I know that as I make this line this direction, okay, this is going to be something like 19 or maybe 19.5, something like that, or 20. Let's just say 20, just for the sake of the argument here, 20. Okay. So clearly, did she graph it correctly? Well, not graph it correctly, but did she write the correct equation? Well, no, she didn't. I would almost assume that she made the mistake students do all the time. Notice that 4 and 9 match right here. Okay, so they do match here, but remember that x is going to be the denominator, and y is going to be the numerator. So most likely the mistake that April made was that she flipped the numerator and the denominator on this, because the equation should look something like this: y equals 9 over 4x, something like that. Okay, so she essentially just flipped the numerator and the denominator. Okay, that should be your equation, the true equation. So is she correct? No, she's not correct. She flipped the fraction. We can say something like that. She flipped the fraction. Okay. All right, and there's number 11. Ryan, you're welcome. All right, guys, how boring has it been being at home without having to go to school, without being able to go with your friends there? Very boring. That's what that's what Sonny was telling me. Sonny was telling me that he's getting bored of playing video games all day. So yeah, I would imagine it is very boring. Going to school has its positives for sure. Ryan, what do you find yourself doing that it's okay for you? Watching a lot of movies, doing your chores, What do you do that keeps you a little busy, making it okay? Playing video games as well? Okay. Maybe you have better video games. Or maybe you're better at the video games than Sunny. Do you happen to play with Sunny online or no? I've been good. I tend to try to stay busy doing little house projects here and there. I'll try to do stuff around the house. I'll try to do stuff outside in the lawns and things like that. Just keep myself busy. Um, Obviously, having my kids here, it's enjoyable as well. I get to spend time with them. I get to play with them. My son is a big soccer fan, so whenever I get the chance, I'll play soccer with him and go out to the backyard. Um, my other son loves jumping on the trampoline, so whenever I get a chance, I try to jump on the trampoline with them as well. So I'm just trying to stay busy, keeping my kids entertained as well, because I'm sure it's kind of frustrating for them to be at home all day as well. They don't get to visit their grandma as often as they would like and things like that. So, um, but it's been okay. I definitely do miss going to work and being in the routine of stuff. Brianna, what have you been up to? Playing games? Are you talking about like board games? You're talking about video games, or maybe Marjorie? You're welcome. Hopefully, all the things were on there for you. Video games. All right. What do you play, Brianna? Good, good. So it sounds like your dad's keeping you a little busy too, as well. Fortnite. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I played Fortnite. Maybe I'll give it a chance now that we have a little bit more extra time. Alana, thank you for joining us. We kind of went over some of the problems, finished the majority of the ratios and proportions. But if you have any questions, jump in and just kind of, even if it's problems that we already did, I can scroll down to those problems and you can see kind of what we did. So, um, what is henchman? What is that? Oh, the bots. So it's not just people anymore. There's also bots on there. Oh, I get it. So it's not as popular anymore. So they're kind of filling in the lobbies with robots there. Alana, what has kept you a little entertained during these times? What have you been up to? I'm assuming not Fortnite since you're kind of putting that laughing emoji there. So I'm assuming you're making a little fun of them. So what have you been doing, Alana? Yeah, that's definitely something that we've been doing as well, watching a lot of movies. Um, we recently watched the Jumanji, the second one, the Jumanji one with and we watched the other movie Onward, the one that's on Disney Plus right now. You're afraid of wasp? You're gonna have to get the an exterminator out there to get rid of them. Yeah, Onward was very sad though at the end too because they only got to spend so much time, or a little bit of time with their dad, right? Yeah, we watched Jumanji 2, and then we ended up wanting to watch Jumanji, not the original one, but I guess Jumanji 1 with when they first go into the video game. So we started watching that one. We'll probably finish watching it today. We didn't finish the whole thing. It's All American, the one on Netflix where they're I think they're football players. Now I'll try to give that one a try as well. What's that about it? But don't ruin it for us. If you tell us you're gonna ruin it, oh, I haven't heard about that. Alana, is that on Netflix as well? Well, the good thing is that I guess we have all those options, right? There's a lot of different things you can watch on Netflix. Jennifer, Marjorie, what about you guys? What has kept you guys, I guess, entertained or busy during these days? Yeah, Alana, that's what a lot of people are doing. They're trying to go outdoors, trying to do things, I guess, away from the house. I know, I guess they were having too many people go out and do those things. So sometimes they were trying to limit the number of people that were out there. What about you, Marjorie? What have you been watching then? You say you're watching a lot of movies as well. What movie would you recommend for the rest of us to watch? I am a little sad. I feel like it's one of those where you're looking forward to the last day of school because it's so exciting to be going to summer. So it's like that's kind of taken away from us. So I know a lot of the eighth graders and promotion and things like that. It's kind of sad for them as well because they won't be able to do their celebration. That's something that they look forward to a lot. Even the end of the year celebrations. We have like obviously all the teachers like to have their little parties or so all those things are kind of sad because it's a good way to start summer because we leave on good terms. So I'm kind of missing that. Um, it's one of those teacher things I'm going to say right now, but I kind of miss state testing because I get to see how we did as a class. I get to see how you guys did. I know you guys don't like state testing, but sometimes state testing kind of helps me to see like, hey, we did really well on this. For next year, as a teacher, I kind of say, hey, maybe I need to do better on this and teach this better because they didn't do so well on that. Yeah, yeah, I know you guys do, and I don't like it either. I do like the data that comes from it, though. We are not going to do state testing this year. No. So this year they're not gonna make us do state testing. Um, well, I guess school ending early, I guess, had its positives, right? Some positives. But if it was up to me, I would definitely still be in school. I have not heard that, Brianna. I don't know if I honestly would say that no. I almost would say that parents wouldn't have the choice of keeping you back because there would be no reason to. Because if you think about it, all the students, not just you guys, not just here in Fresno, not just in Sanger, not just in California, you have to think that all students are being essentially not going to school right now. That's essentially what's happening to all the students. So it's not just you guys, it's kind of everybody. And what's going to happen is most likely next year in eighth grade, they're most likely going to review some of the stuff that we did in seventh grade. Even if it's not stuff that you actually learned with me, they'll kind of go over it with you in the beginning of eighth grade to kind of catch up everybody. So I highly doubt that they'll say, "Hey, your student or your daughter or your son has to stay back in seventh grade again," because it would make no sense because everybody's in the same situation where they haven't finished technically seventh grade yet. Yeah, Alana, that's definitely one of the saddest parts. I almost wish that we would have known that we were not going to be coming back. That way we could have said, like you said, some proper goodbyes and things like that. Because if you remember, when we left, I remember we had reviewed for a quiz that we were going to take, and instead of taking time to review for the quiz, I would have rather have said goodbyes to you guys, spend some more time with you guys instead of reviewing for the quiz. It would have been better. Um, Jennifer, technically you will be, but if you think about it, everybody's going to be behind. So, are you really behind? Not really, because everybody will be. So you'll be behind in what we kind of are expected to teach you guys, but you won't be behind as far as like how you compare to other students because other students are going to be the exact same way. Now that I think about it, maybe I should give you guys some quizzes here online. Maybe like a take-home quiz where you get to use your notes and things like that. But I won't help you with the problems. Well, I almost hope that by the time we get to August, when you do most of the online or the back to school shopping, I would almost imagine that by the time we get to August, things should be somewhat back to normal. I wouldn't imagine that this is going to be extended until then. Look at you guys spending your parents' money already, looking for backpacks, shoes, and clothes. Yeah, it's definitely sad, and you got to think that a lot of families are going through that. Um, Something that I guess I kind of remind myself and remind my kids is that it's better not to risk going out there and getting sick. It's better for us to be healthy and then be able to see them once this whole thing is over. That's kind of, I guess, a silver lining that if they're healthy and they're okay, then you will see them. And then with technology nowadays, I guess you can kind of still FaceTime and things like that. It comes from a parent thing, I guess. I'm speaking like your mom, like a parent, I guess. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna cut our conversation a little bit short, but if you guys want to log on again on Wednesday, I'll be hosting another Google Meet like this on Wednesday at the same time at 11 o'clock. Um, but I hope you guys are doing well. Watch all the different movies. I'm gonna definitely look into the All American, see what that's about. Marjorie, thank you. Have a good rest of your day as well. I'll talk to you guys. I'll keep in touch with you guys. And if you have any questions, comment on Google Classroom, or you're welcome to send me an email. Okay. All right, guys. I'll be speaking to you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day.